There are new revelations about the problems at Fox News and Tucker Carlson's firing. This courtesy of a big story in the New York Times because they've published new information about a previously redacted text Tucker Carlson sent that he thought would be kept secret. Now, the Fox executives got a hold of this and other information right before they folded and paid out the largest penalty ever in a defamation case. The Times broke this story amidst some of their ongoing interviews as they report out what happened. Carlson recounts a video showing a group of Trump guys surrounding an Antifa kid, and he says they started pounding the living crap out of him, 3 against 1. Tucker Carlson goes on, quote, "Jumping a guy like that is dishonorable, obviously. It's not how white men fight." End quote from Tucker Carlson. Neither Carlson nor Fox had further comment on this today. They're not denying that this text message was sent by Tucker Carlson. And this goes to something we've been following throughout this story. As I've told you, when we first saw that there were these cases against Fox, there was the high bar of a defamation case, and we mentioned that, but there was also the overwhelmingly high pile of damning evidence from stuff on air, which was the core of the defamation claim, because millions of people saw that stuff. No one saw these texts until recently. But the texts and the underlying material also reinforced the argument that there was knowing and malicious lying. That is what the defamation case is about. But we told you this could have larger consequences, and boy, has it, because in using the legal system, it pulled back the lid, the curtain, whatever backstage analogy you want to use, to exactly stuff like this, which is bad. It shows a kind of consistency or overwhelming drumbeat of both lies and assorted hate. And then, again, we want to give you all the context. You say, well, okay, there was a reckoning, there was accountability. You could see how that wouldn't go over well with a jury or a judge. But a lot of it, as I say, was consistently reinforcing a drumbeat that was out in the open. None of this is surprising if you're even passingly familiar with what Tucker Carlson has morphed his public identity and show into over the last several years. This is what he would peddle.
White supremacy, that's the problem. This is a hoax.
There's no evidence that white supremacists were responsible for what happened on January 6th. That's a lie.
We have a moral obligation to admit the world's poor, they tell us, even if it makes our own country poorer and dirtier and more divided.
To change the demographics of the country. Demographic change.
In political terms, this policy is called the Great Replacement, the replacement of legacy Americans.
The Democratic Party is trying to replace the current electorate. How precisely is diversity our strength? Justin Pearson wasn't white. That's probably how he got into Bowdoin in the first place.
Those are just a couple excerpts. If we wanted to play for you a much longer archive of the exact same stuff, we could tonight. What comes through is that this is what Tucker Carlson was peddling on the most watched hour of Fox News. So if the executives wanted, they could just do what their audience was doing and watch this occasionally, and they'd be familiar with it. Again, the defamation case was about lies, but the lies of January 6th relate to the hate. The replacement theory we just showed you, and we did a full debunking of it at the time, is an anti-black and brown, anti-Semitic conspiracy theory. So what tracks with that is when conservative, pro-Trump white people stormed the Capitol, Tucker Carlson brought his hateful lens, his conspiracy theory lens, to that story, which was going to hurt them at trial as the jury saw all the reasons, a consistent echoing of why there was, as I mentioned, a malicious effort to lie about this stuff going into the Jan 6 insurrection and well after it in Carlson's case. So then you have Fox executives who are claiming some kind of shock and putting out their version of events to some degree, that they got these texts and that was so incriminating, and so then they had to do something. But that can't be taken seriously. Honestly, sometimes we go to different cultural touchstones. This is giving Casablanca vibes for the Fox execs, who now say they're shocked when, well, you remember the police captain there had that very famous, unbelievable claim of shock because of the Humphrey Bogart obvious gambling operation.
Everybody is to leave here immediately. This cafe is closed until further notice. Clear the room at once.
How can he close me up? On what ground?
I'm shocked to find that gambling is going on in here. You're winning, sir. Oh, thank you very much. Everybody out at once.
Some things hold up because we are all familiar with people who basically are a part of a problem because they oversaw it or they looked the other way, and then when the heat gets too high, they're claiming shock. And Carlson's firing is not exactly ending this problem. There are many ways that a new line has been drawn, particularly on the defamation, on the election lies. If you go out at Fox News right now and actively do the kind of things that they just had to pay the largest penalty for ever, you're going to hear about it. I mean, that's just any workplace, even Fox. But all this other stuff, which can still be basically kind of arguably asserted as somebody's opinion and not a direct defamatory, actionable claim, where a group like Dominion could take you to court and sue. All the other hate, well, some of that's still kicking around. Take last night, a host saying that he knows how to identify, quote, illegal immigrants by looking at them.
I saw on the way into work a illegal immigration family digging through the trash looking for recyclables.
How did you know they were illegal?
You can tell. And
Jesse.
I can tell. I'm a city guy. And you don't want me to get into it, but I can tell.
Do you want to get into it? Have you been paying attention to what's been going on? That is, again, the sort of daily or casual or impromptu, perhaps unscripted assertions that pass for just another part of being on air at Fox. So some of these problems will outlive Mr. Carlson, even as others are being sanctioned so strongly with such a huge financial bite that we are seeing a little less election defamation lately on air. As for the hate, well, we want to hold that accountable too.